If you're an artist on Spotify, chances are you're making a huge mistake. Most artists are leaving fans, money, and opportunities on the table because they don't understand the platform. What if I told you Spotify isn't just a streaming service, but it's a strategy? My name's Chris, also known as the artist Manafest. I have about 500,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. I've been doing music for over 15 plus years. We had a song in the Super Bowl and the Olympics last year, and I'm the creator of the Spotify 5-Day Challenge. So I want to share with you in this video why Spotify is the right opportunity and is the right strategy. And number one is because it is a product-based business versus a service-based business. I had no idea when I got into music that the work I would do when I created or wrote a song back in 2001, because that's when I did my first EP, that I would still get paid for this song today. And what I mean by that is I do the work once, but I get paid forever for it. I don't get paid for my paper route anymore. I don't get paid from the IT job. I don't even get paid for the shows that I did because those were service-based businesses. I showed up and did the work. I had to do the work and then I got paid. A lot of us in this 9-to-5 world, we understand that. We work, get paid. Work, get paid. But what I learned as being an entrepreneur and an entrepreneur musician and releasing songs and owning my masters is that I work, get paid. I do the work and then I get paid. And it doesn't stop getting paid. As I'm recording this video for you right now, I'm getting paid. On Christmas, I'm getting paid. On birthdays, when I sleep, I'm getting paid. And why is that? It's because I've adopted this Spotify model of uploading music and people streaming my music 24/7. And of course, it's not just Spotify, it's Apple Music, it's Deezer, it's YouTube. But I just want you to really adopt this mentality of doing work once and then getting paid for it forever. But the problem is, it takes a little bit longer to set up. It takes a longer to build, and that's just how it is with most businesses, as opposed to checking in at our 9-to-5 and doing work and getting paid. In the music business and just business in period, you don't get work or you get paid until you get a result for somebody. Right? And so I really understood this with music and touring, whereas when I quit my job, I hadn't built the streaming income yet. I hadn't built my music catalog yet. I only had one 5-song EP and my new album that was out yet, and streaming wasn't even a big deal. The only way I could get paid for music was at the shows when I performed, right? And I got paid for that show, or people bought merch after that show. And so let me just tell you, the old model of CDs in stores, that was brutal. Have you ever walked through a mall and you see an empty store, you see someone just waiting there for someone to come and buy something? That's how it was with CDs. So you had to drive enough awareness, enough marketing, and enough promotion to force people into the stores. But then you had to make sure that the stores had even stocked your CD, or you had signed a distribution deal, or you had a record deal that had these distribution channels and these relationships. But now with Spotify and DistroKid or whatnot, you make your music available to everybody and it's selling 24/7. I want you to realize how easy it is now to get out there. But sure, there's more competition, but that's easy, and we'll get to that in a second. I really want you to understand that hey, you got to put in the work to market the product for people to go and stream it. But for me, I got caught in the idea of okay, I got to pay the bills. I got to pay the bills. And so I learned that when I did shows and I played shows, people would pay me $1,000. They pay me $2,000, eventually $5,000. Remember one New Year's Eve show, we got paid $11,000, and different price ranges, right? But the point is if I did 10 shows at $1,000 each, that's $10,000 a month. I remember when we first had our first 20K from touring, right? And that wasn't even including merch. And I was like, holy smokes, right? And so this is great. And this is fueling my music business and my music career. But this is the thing. I only got paid once for those, right? I only got paid once for those shows. And now that I've been in this game for 15, 20 plus years, right? What's really interesting is I took a year off before COVID to stop touring, right? I took a year off, just wanted a break. I'd been doing it my whole life, right? Had a daughter, wanted to be home a little bit more, be with my family. And then COVID hit, and I haven't played a show in 4 or 5 years now. It's been forever. And honestly, I don't know when I'm going to go back out yet. But you know what hasn't stopped is the streaming income. The money from the show stopped, but the streaming income didn't stop from all those albums and all the marketing and all the promotion we did over those years, right? It is still working for me. And that's the revelation I want you to have, is that, yes, that took longer to build, right? And some people, it doesn't take as long. They post something on Instagram or TikTok and they blow it up and they're getting streaming income right away. And that can happen really fast with marketing and promotion and Facebook ads and Instagram ads. I'm not going to get into all that, but you can get to it a lot faster. But the real mentality, the real nugget I want to give you is you want to do things that pay you forever. Work on things that don't just pay you once, but have the ability to pay forever. And that's not even just like the streaming, from the master side, but there's also the publishing side as you as a songwriter. I'm still getting paid for songs that I wrote on. And what's really cool is sometimes we'll get a 5-year, 10-year-old song where someone wants to use it in a TV film placement. Right? I was talking to a buddy yesterday. He has a 15-year-old song that someone wanted to use in a movie trailer. And this is from work that he did a long time ago. Okay? So product-based business versus service-based business. A lot of times we start a service-based business, right, to get the money in so we can grow our product-based business, because it's just as easy to sell 1 million songs as it is to one when you go online, which leads me to number 2, which is just so awesome about Spotify and this whole YouTube streaming model that we're in, is that they promote the songs for you. Like, we just released a new song, and we did a Spotify marquee. We pitched it to the release radar, told my fans about it. But now the algorithm, once we give the song enough data, Spotify's algorithm starts going, oh man, these types of people are enjoying this song. Let's share it out through our radio algorithmic playlist. Oh, it's doing so well. Let's just add it to an editorial. Now, the editorial doesn't happen as much, but it does freaking happen sometimes. But the radio, Discover Weekly, Release Radar, and all of a sudden your fans are automatically, sharing the song for you. That's like a whole bunch of Sam Goodies or a whole bunch of Best Buys or Walmarts that used to carry CDs. That's like all the store clerks, just automatically sharing your album, right? Which how often did that really happen, right? Word of mouth. But Spotify's algorithm is literally doing it for us. They're promoting the song for us. And of course you can opt in to Spotify discovery mode for, I think it's 20 or 30% commission on new streams, not any streams afterwards, so that they share your song out more. So they're doing the heavy lifting for you, right? And this is the same thing with YouTube. Some of my YouTube videos get shared more than others, depending on how good the thumbnail is and how good the video is, the content. Well, it's the same thing with your song. If you got a music video or a lyric video, depending on how good the thumbnail is, right? Because what will happen is YouTube will start to share it out to your existing audience. And if people are clicking on that thing and then they're watching it, you're keeping them retained, right? They're watching through the whole thing. They're liking, they're commenting, maybe they're subscribing or following on Spotify, following your profile. They're going to start sharing that out more and more. Why do you think when you go on Netflix, you always see a new thumbnail? They're trying to get you to click on it, because if they get you to click on it, they'll get you to watch it. But what's so powerful here is this machine is promoting our music for us. But we've got to give it enough data. We've got to give it enough marketing and enough push so that the song can get some legs. We can't just do this little weak push. You want to go hard, especially on day one or the first 24 to 48 hours, so you can give Spotify, YouTube, all these platforms as much data as possible so that they can use their algorithms and go, okay, these are the types of people who are liking it. Let's go find more people like those. As opposed to, honestly, Facebook and Instagram that want us to always pay to boost our posts. And sure, some things go viral, but I find they suppress the posts more than they share them. It's gotten better with the reels, but I find on YouTube and Spotify, look, they want to keep their customers on the platform as long as possible. And me and you, as the content creators, we provide the content. If the content is good, the cream is going to rise to the top. Mr. Beast has said this so many times. It's not that the algorithm didn't like the video. It's the audience that didn't like the video or didn't like the song, right? But for some of you, I'll just be honest, you don't even give the algorithm anything to work with. Like you don't even market, you don't spend any money. You just like upload it and you just want all these things to happen. And you don't put any money, you don't put any effort, you don't do anything. You know, on my last song, I stayed up till midnight and really pushed it, promoted the junk out of it. Guess what? We're getting an insane opportunity. I go through all the details in that in my song launch checklist. If you haven't got this, put the link below. If you got questions, please come to our next Spotify live challenge. I'm doing them live again, so you can come and you can ask questions live. It's for 5 days straight. It will change your life. I'll put the link below this video. I think it's 10xyourfanbase.com. So the third thing that's so powerful about Spotify and just about these platforms in general is the global opportunities. Okay, so you got to understand, back in the day, like we'd have to get a distribution deal. Or we'd sign a deal. I remember our first deal was with this label in the US, and I remember we carved out Canada because I had distribution opportunities. But like I did a global deal. But some of these labels or whatnot, or distribution deals we would do, it's like, okay, they wanted Germany, they wanted the UK, they wanted Australia, New Zealand. It's like, well, what are you doing in those countries? Like, what are you doing to grow me over there? And I will say, the first deal we did include Japan, and we had a distribution through EMI, or they did, EMI Universal now, and that did end up helping me to blow up in Japan, which is wild. But I want to lead that to this, that like Spotify is a global opportunity. YouTube is a global opportunity. I want you to start thinking local and start thinking global. Like now we have the opportunity to market our music worldwide. Like you want to put your music in these countries? Crank up your Spotify ads, crank up your Facebook ads, and do your targeting and say, look, I really want to blow up in Denmark because I want to tour there one day, or Sweden, or Switzerland, or, Japan. Like you can target your marketing and build the fan base there online and then go tour there. I had it backwards back in the day, man. We were just grinding it out on the road, playing shows, sometimes getting paid, trying to, grow it organically. But I'll never forget, like Japan, it blew up on itself first with the music, and then we went and toured there. And toured for a pack house in Tokyo and Osaka, and eventually we did a whole bunch of other cities there. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like putting the cart before the horse. So it's like build the marketing first, build the audience first, and then blow it up. And I want to share this one last thing I learned from my mentor, Myron, was just like, look, you have to grow roots just like a tree, okay? And you got to understand, like, there's two ways a tree grows, right? It grows up, which is phototropically towards the sun, and it grows gravitropically down. It grows roots and it grows up. And just like skyscrapers, right? If you want to build a really big skyscraper, you got to dig a lot deeper. And same thing with a tree. The higher it grows, the bigger it grows, the deeper its roots have got to grow. Well, you as an artist, you've got to grow some roots. And that's from the scars, the rejections, just getting your reps in the studio, writing songs, releasing songs. And we all want it to happen on our first record, our first song, our first album. But sometimes it doesn't happen until the second or third, sometimes the fourth. Right? And so what I'm trying to say is that, I want you to have big goals. I want you to have big dreams. I talk about it in my book, Fighter, 5 Keys to Conquering Fear and Reaching Your Dreams. Like, I want you to dream big, but I want you to know is that sometimes it's going to take a lot longer than we think. And it's going to take more effort than we think. And it's going to take more pain and sometimes suffering and going through it. Like I think about the times I slept in the van. I think about the times this one festival, like where they didn't put me up in a hotel and I was sleeping in this room and I had to use one of my own hoodies as a pillow and one of my own hoodies as a blanket. One of my hoodies that like, not that I wear, but that I normally sell at the merch, that I probably got drool on and then went and sold it at the merch table later on. But Abraham Lincoln says this, he says, I will prepare and my opportunity will come. And all these things that you're going through right now, I want you to know they're preparing you for when your opportunity does come. These struggles, this pain, the stuff that you're going through, God still has a plan for your life. It says in Jeremiah 29:11 that I've got a plan to prosper you, to give you a hope and a future. But this stuff that you're going through, it produces patience. The enemy wants to just take you out. Wants you to give up on your dreams, wants you to quit. But God is saying, like in King Solomon, Proverbs 24:16, it says, even though a righteous man falls down 7 times, they get up and go again. And that word man means mankind. So my women out there, my girls, my guys and my girls, like get up and go again. Don't quit. You're just getting started. There's so much more. And if like I had known, like, wow, I had to go through this to get there, maybe I wouldn't have gone. Maybe I wouldn't have taken the steps forward, but that's where faith comes in. That's where your why comes in. Like your why has got to be big enough so you'll figure out anyhow. A poor person says, I can't afford that. A rich person says, how can I afford that? How can I figure this out? How can I get the money to make it happen, to pay for the producer, to get the album done, to get the marketing done, to get the coach, to just to make it happen? Figure it out. What do I got to sacrifice? What do I got to put off today so I can have tomorrow? Isn't that what Dave Ramsey says? If you want to have what others can't have tomorrow, you've got to do what others won't do today. And guys, I shared the stats in the other videos. Like, what is it? 80% of artists have less than 100 monthly listeners. Like, that's really sad. But that just shows you how many aren't willing to do the work. So it just shows you that there's no competition. And so there's a runway waiting for you just to launch your music career and go after it. And I hope you do.